Okay, who wants some?
Me.
Yum! This is great!
I'm glad you like it.
The first warning came in the form of silence. On Deck 17 of the Coalition war carrier Vigil of Stars, silence was never normal. The cub barracks were always loud, claws clicking on metal flooring, low growls of competition, playful roars that shook the bulkheads. The Thornscale cubs were predators by blood and by culture, raised from birth to dominate. Noise was life to them. So when Cadet Alina Ward walked into the feeding hall and heard nothing at all, her instincts told her something was very wrong. 30 cubs sat in perfect rows. 30 sets of glowing amber eyes stared at her, and not one of them touched their trays. Elena froze. She was human, soft-skinned, weak by coalition standards, assigned to the Thornscale brood as a behavioral liaison, because the coalition believed humans had an unusual calming effect on juvenile predators. Most species believed that idea was ridiculous. The cubs believed something else entirely. They believed Elena was theirs. One cub rose first. Krithik, the largest of the brood, already showing the ridged horn growth of an alpha male. He slammed his claws onto the table. "None you guys," he snarled in broken trade tongue. The others echoed him. "M-E-8 ball, U-G-Is, A-U." Elena swallowed. The problem wasn't fear. The problem was that there were no meat nuggets. Not today. Not for a while. The Coalition Nutritional Board had issued a new directive. Juvenile predators assigned to mixed species vessels were to receive balanced dietary supplements: vegetables, fiber, non-meat nutrients. Alina looked down at the trays she was pushing. Steamed greens, root mash, protein substitutes shaped like cubes, vegetables. She knew, with absolute certainty, that she was about to start a war. The first riot began 6 seconds after the first cub tasted a carrot. Krithik spat the vegetable across the hall, hissed and flipped his table. Another cub shrieked in outrage. A third tried to bite through the tray. "Elena!" shouted an officer from the doorway. "Abort! Get out!" But Alina didn't move. She stepped forward. Her heart pounded so hard she thought it might crack her ribs, but her voice came out calm. "No," she said. "Sit." Every cub froze. Not because she was loud. Because she was human. The Thornscales had learned, over months of observation, that humans were strange. Humans did not dominate through strength. They did not fight for rank. They induated. They protected. And they fed. Alina knelt so she was eye level with them. "I know you want meat," she said softly. "I know you're angry. But this isn't poison. It's food. You don't have to like it. But you will eat it." Krithik bared his teeth. "This is insult," he growled. "Predators do not eat leaves." Alina met his gaze. "Predators survive," she replied. "And survivors eat what keeps them alive." That should have ended it. It didn't. Within hours, the Thornscale elders aboard the vessel were alerted. Then the officers. Then the Coalition command net lit up with outrage. "Humans are starving our cubs. This is cultural warfare. This is an act of biological aggression." The term Galactic Uprising was first used by a Coalition diplomat who had never met a Thornscale cub in his life. By the second day, the cubs refused all food. By the third, the elders demanded Elena's removal. "She is breaking them," snarled Elder Vraxel. "Return her to her species." Alina was summoned to the command chamber. She stood alone before beings that could kill her without effort. "You will stop this," Vraxel commanded. "Give them meat." Elena shook her head. "They will eat," she said. "But not because you force them, and not because I surrender." The chamber erupted in growls. "You dare defy us?" Vraxel roared. Elena's hands trembled, but she stood her ground. "I dare care about them," she said. "More than you do." Silence fell like a blade. Then something unexpected happened. A small voice echoed through the chamber. Human. They turned. At the doorway stood the smallest cub of the brood. Thin, underdeveloped, often ignored. His name was Tillich. He held a tray. It was empty, Tillich said. Gasps rippled through the elders. Why? Vraxel demanded. Tillich's tail flicked nervously. Because human stayed, he said. Because human did not leave when we growled. Because human eats bad things too and survives. Elena felt her throat tighten. The elders stared. Then another cub stepped forward. I ate also. And I. And me. One by one the cubs entered the chamber. All had eaten. All stood behind Elena. Kurthik was last. He did not look at the elders. He looked at her. This is wrong, he said quietly. But you did not abandon us. He lowered his head. The room shook. The Thornscale elders had just witnessed the unthinkable. The cubs had chosen a human. The uprising never turned violent. It turned political. Across the coalition, predator species demanded to know why their young trusted humans more than their own leaders. Nutritional boards were suspended. Cultural doctrines were questioned. And humans didn't gloat. They cooked. Elena worked with coalition chefs to create meals that blended nutrients with familiar textures. Vegetables shaped like prey. Root mash infused with broth. Protein alternatives that smelled like meat. The cubs complained. They always ate. Weeks later, medical scans revealed something shocking. The Thornscale cubs were stronger, faster. Their bone density had increased. Their neural development showed higher adaptability scores. Predators who could survive change. Elder Vraxel visited the feeding hall one last time. He watched Elena distribute trays. He watched the cubs eat without protest. You altered them, he said. Elena nodded. Yes. Why? He asked. She thought for a moment. Because someday, she said, they won't have everything they want. And I want them to live anyway. Vraxel lowered his head, not in submission, but in acknowledgement. Human, he said, you have triggered something far greater than rebellion. Alana smiled faintly. Yeah, that tends to happen. That night, the cubs curled up near her quarters, bellies full, tails wrapped around one another. The galaxy had feared predators. What it feared next was what humans taught them to become.